Hey there, Nitrobearders, it's Wes Gardner, executive producer of content and co-creator of Nitrobeard.com, and I'm here to discuss my top 5 games of 2011, and it's been a fairly unpredictable year. I think that's the best word for it, because you simply have to look at the content we've put up on the site already. All of our editors have picked their games and chosen their favorite experiences. And yeah, some of them may overlap here and there, but overall, at least one person has picked one game that someone else hasn't. And that's not only telling for the editors, but it's telling for the games. We've had so much good content this year that it's kind of hard to pick and choose which one you prefer more or less. And it's truly mind-blowing. It seems every year we go through this, and every year we come out with great finds and hidden gems. But that's not to say that there isn't a little bit of irony, because you have to remember, this is the year that brought us Duke Nukem Forever, yet Dragon Age 2 was still a more embarrassing game. So what are you going to do? But anyways, here's my picks for the top 5 games of 2011. Number 5, The Witcher 2. Remember that time when Dragon Age was good? Well, while BioWare took a hard left to what the Hellsville, CD Projekt took to the main stage and delivered an experience worthy of the grades. Witcher 2 Assassin of Kings continues the story of Geralt of Rivia, last known Witcher, in his quest to find out who's been killing all the royalty in Temeria. Starting with a simple interrogation, you, as Geralt, make decisions spanning from far-reaching to surprisingly intimate in a quest to set Temeria back on the right track.
I can add several more heads to this one, all crowned.
Go on.
The game's balance really hits its stride in the powers you obtain. No matter if you choose swordplay, potion making, or magic, you'll always have a balanced, challenging experience. The conversation decisions are fairly cutthroat, and you'll truly feel like you're having an influence on the world around you. In every way Dragon Age 2 failed, Witcher 2 succeeded, and it's no doubt one of my favorites of the year.
This is my jam. Yeah. You remember this? Come on.
Nice.
Early in the morning, rising to the street. Light me up that cigarette and I'll strap shoes on my feet. Got to find a reason things went wrong. Got to find a reason why my money's all gone.
Ooh.
I got a Dalmatian, and I can still get high.
You know it.
I can play the guitar like a motherfucking riot. That's the one.
Play a guitar.
Number 4, Saints Row the Third. This, for me, was, I think, the biggest surprise of the year. Truth be told, I didn't like the original Saints Row, and I played maybe an hour of Saints Row 2, as none of the features presented interested me in the least. I love San Andreas, and I love Liberty City, but Stillwater just never felt, I don't know, it never felt like an actual place to me. It never felt right. But that all changes in Saints Row 3, though, as everything that was not fun about Grand Theft Auto clones was removed, and everything that was fun about them was cranked up to a hilarious degree. Sure, the dodo humor might be a turnoff to some, but trust me, the humor runs much deeper than what you may expect. There's puns, self-deprecating humor, and incredibly aware and alive voice acting really turns Stillwater from a cheap Grand Theft Auto knockoff to your favorite Naked Gun-esque parody game. You can dress like an NBA mascot, wear an anime backpack, and skydive into foes, and you have unlimited ammo and invincibility. Unrealistic? Sure, but fun as hell? You betcha. It's a true joy of a game. Number 3, Mario Kart 7. There's that old adage that the first Mario Kart you play will always be your favorite, and I'm living proof that that's simply not the case. I started with Super Mario Kart, but Mario Kart 7 is by far and away my favorite installment. In fact, Mario Kart 7 is the most fun I've had on my 3DS, bar none. I've thought about the why, and I was actually having trouble coming up with something to say, but that fact, in and of itself, is kind of telling. This Mario Kart just feels perfect. The controls come together incredibly well, and the 3DS's more stocky frame makes the weight of the racing feel just right. And Nintendo sealed the deal as far as their online functionality is concerned. And hell, even the spot pass function, where I can just wirelessly receive someone's track times and beat their scores by just walking past them in a mall, is perfectly implemented. You know, it's Need for Speed Hot Pursuit's online functionality by giving the appeal of friendly competition without the on-the-spot stress of performing online. And I hate to use the Nintendo magic as a cop-out for the quality of the game, but those that know what I mean definitely know what I mean, as it's here in spades. The weight, the power slides, the items, well, I mean, except for that goddamn blue shell. But I mean, the tracks, it all comes together in grand style. And it's odd, I actually have it paused right now, sitting next to me. Number 2, Skyrim. Oh, Skyrim, you saucy minx. Bethesda's newest showcase is a true achievement, as it feels like their entire resume up to this point was training in order to deliver their ultimate goal, which I believe has actually come to fruition in Skyrim. The amount of options, quests, items, and freedom of choice is staggering. And while that may sort of seem like empty praise, if you compare your world map from the very beginning of the game to the same world map that you have at the end of the game, it looks like you've just solved the Da Vinci Code. You have maps, you have markers, coordinates, rumors, write-ups, journals, and everything else you can think of. The appealing thing about Skyrim is the fact that not only do you have control of the content you see, or when you see it, but that it's always accessible, beatable, obtainable, and gives you a reward no matter what you set out to do in the first place. A true role-playing game, at its heart, forces you to live life in a foreign place, make amends for decisions you make, and notice everything around you, all the while thinking about yourself in the process and your end goal.
Why are we stopping?
Why do you think? End of the line.
The only negative thing about Skyrim is also the main selling point, is that there's almost too much to do. To me, it's the best value of the year, and in many respects approaches the orange box in pure dollars for hours and enjoyment. It's too good to pass up, but odds are, though, you already know that. Number 1, Deus Ex Human Revolution. Now this is where things get interesting. My choice of Deus Ex Human Revolution is actually a multi-layered choice, as while it's a fantastic game in and of itself, and you know, it's the most fun I've had with a game this year, that's only part of the reason it's my number 1. If you listen to the Beardcast, you're probably well aware of my love of all things Blade Runner, cyberpunk, and film noir. The reason I love that setting and that style of narrative is actually encompassed in this installment of Deus Ex. While giving something visually stimulating, you're able to control a message, and people are more likely to listen. We see it every day in commercials, adverts, reality television. Even politicians have giant tour buses. You know, religious cathedrals have ornate golden halls and elaborate structures.
People are dying out there. Hundreds of thousands of people driven to the brink of insanity because of you.
But everything is being sold, whether it's beliefs, items, food, what have you, and we're all shoppers whether we like it or not. The main difference between quality and crap, at least to me, is if I retain anything from my experience. I'm a big fan of books, films, or games that make me think in a way that I hadn't thought of previously. You know, whether it's the puzzles in Braid, or the bizarre reading structure of House of Leaves, or watching Memento piecing together the detailed order of events that happen in the film. With Deus Ex Human Revolution, we get a best of worlds as well as the worst. The way the weapons feel, the choices you make in the game, and the conspiracy-based story are all sorts of cool, and I can't help but admit that I'm kind of suckered into that. You know, I'm being biased, especially since the first Deus Ex is still my favorite game of all time. But that being said though, the merit of this game lies in its message. There's chaos in the streets, people want vast changes in socio-economical standings, and control has to be properly distributed between government, industry, the finance markets, and religion. Oh, wait, we're still talking about the game, right? Sorry, I got sidetracked by watching Occupy Wall Street footage. But, okay, before I get too crazy, just know that I love gaming, and I love the act of playing games. I don't need every piece of entertainment I have to be life-changing, overly dramatic, or something I can really dig into with a fine-tooth comb. Sometimes I just like blowing doors down with my overpowered shotgun, hacking mainframe terminals, talking my way into seedy nightclubs, and overall becoming a super, nearly invincible badass. Couple that entertainment with something I can really sink my teeth into and debate with my peers, though, and you've got something truly special. There really wasn't a question as to whether or not I would like Deus Ex Human Revolution, but the question was, how much would I like it? The first game is still a legendary piece of gaming history to me, and 10 years later, developers are still catching up. I'm happy to say that it exceeded my expectations, but it did more than that. It made me think. And with so much crazy that's happening in the world right now, it seems like a lot of other people are starting to think as well. Good storytelling mirrors reality, and in a weird way, I consider Deus Ex Human Revolution a timestamp of sorts, not only for world happenings and current events, but for our maturing industry as well. We're headed in the right way, guys, and let's keep up the good work. Don't shy away from those hard stories, and be sure to call a spade, because if we don't take the initiative and start asking questions and taking actions, the industry we love so dearly may end up being, well, pointless. I proudly call Deus Ex Human Revolution my top game of 2011, and it's a must-play, if only that maybe, just maybe, you'll see the world just a little bit differently. Or, covered in gold, because that's pretty rad too.